Every individual born on this planet is a great leader in making. All those leaders who made the history in the walks of life was being inspired by the role models when they were young. First of all, wishing you all a very happy and a pleasant morning. So we'll have questions running out in our mind. Who is a great man that we must celebrate? What has he done for the children? There are a lot of primary schools. Even in the remotest villages, we are able to see children are given opportunities for learning. So, this is all because of his love for children, and it is all because of his hard work. And it is none other than Mr. Kamaraj, who was the former late Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. Firstly, we'll see about his lifestyle. So, as we all know, Kumaraswamy Kamaraj was born on July 15, 1903 in Virudhunagar. He was a well-known Indian political leader, freedom fighter and the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. He was acknowledged as the kingmaker in the Indian politics during 1960s, and then he is also referred as Kamarajar, Perum Dalaivar, Padikathu Medai in Tamil Nadu. Considering his contribution towards education, his birth anniversary is celebrated as Education Development Day. So when Kamarajar came to power, he realized that the students were lacking education, and then he tried to rectify it. At that time, the illiterate parents were reluctant to send their children to school because they never felt the importance of education. This made him to introduce some of the reforms. I'm here to share the three most important reforms of Mr. Kamaraj. The first reform is putting an end to retrograde policies. So he reopened 6,000 schools which were closed by Rajaji, who was the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu before Kamaraj. He also started 12,000 new schools for the students to improve their education. So this was his contribution towards education. And then the second reform is introducing free education, compulsory education as well as uniforms. So he tried a lot to introduce this reform. He provided free and compulsory education to all the students up to 11th standard. He did this as well as he provided uniforms to all the students to weed out the caste, creed and religion in the young minds. So this was his second reform. And the third most important reform is the midday meal scheme, where the primary school children was provided with a meal by the panchayat and government run schools. So this was the most important reform among these three. So these were the contributions which Kamaraj gave towards education. So we'll see. So today we are proud that we are educated, and behind this education there is a man who dreamt for the education of all the students, and that is Kamaraj. I would like to end my speech by the golden words of Kamaraj, which was said to the students: face the problem, don't evade it, try to solve the problem. Thank you.
Very warm greetings of the day. I am Artyam of grade 9 and I am here to give a short speech about Dr. K. Kamaraj, the great visionary of education. Now, the word visionary refers to a person who has a strong vision about something in the future. In that way, we can aptly describe Dr. Kamaraj as one of those greatest visionaries of education. He had great thoughts and ideas which not only increased the efficiency and spread of education during his period but also during the upcoming years. Though he was not educated, he was the first to contribute to the expansion of free education in our state. He was born on 15th July 1903 in Madras to a poor couple, Mr. Kumaraswamy and Mrs. Sivagami Ammal. Mr. Kamaraj suffered very hard during his childhood days and finally he became the third Chief Minister of our state, Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, the period during which he served as the Chief Minister is considered to be the golden period. During his period as a Chief Minister, he introduced various educational facilities. He took a census in 17,000 villages and found that 6,000 of those villages had no schools and thus took immediate actions to bring schools in those villages. To eradicate illiteracy, he introduced free and compulsory education up to 11th grade. He is best known for introducing the great midday meal scheme which provided poor school students with free nutritious lunch. He also introduced the concept of wearing uniforms to reject all those differences caused by caste and creed. Keeping in mind the distance that the children had to walk, he built primary schools within 1 mile, secondary schools within 3 miles, and higher secondary schools within 5 miles. Apart from schools, he also built various libraries and other educational institutions such as medical colleges and engineering colleges. He was awarded India's highest civilian honor, the Bharat Ratna, in 1976 after his death for his contributions to the field of education and various other fields. I would like to conclude by saying that he is one of the greatest political leaders, and as a citizen of Tamil Nadu, I feel a whole lot proud about him, and he is one of those who have created permanent marks in our minds. Thank you.
Good wishes, everybody. Today, we all are celebrating the birth anniversary of Kamarajar. Today, we all must proudly say that we all are educated. But behind our education, there is a mind who thought for the future of each and every child in the Tamil Nadu. It's none other than the Kamarajar. He was born on 15th July 1903 to Kumaraswamy Nadar and Shivahami Ammal in Virudhunagar. No one knows that he has a younger sister whose name was Nahamal. At the very young age, his father passed away, so the situation made him to discontinue his school studies and worked in his uncle's clothes shop, where he got inspired by the freedom fighters' elocution. At the age of 16, he joined in the Indian National Congress after being inspired by the speech of Rajaji. Kumaraswamy Kamaraj was popularly known as Karmaveer Kamaraj, was an Indian activist and the politician who served as the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu from 13th April 1954 to 2nd October 1963. He was the founder and the president of Indian National Congress and widely acknowledged as the kingmaker in Indian politics during 1960s. Today, we always proudly say that I'm educated, you're educated. But this man stood for the education with great opposition and negative comments. He made a revelation in education by starting the primary schools in each and every villages and making the children to learn. And thus, he is known as the great visionary of education. He always kept the welfare of people and mainly on school going children, so that he has started the midday meal scheme, so all the children can concentrate in their studies without the hunger. And he was always ready to sacrifice all his luxurious life for the cause of education. He is always known for his simplicity and integrity. In this auspicious day, we all must thank the God for this wonderful school and the committed parents who knows the value of education. Thank you.
Intelligence plus character, that's the true goal of education. By saying this quote, I wish all of you a pleasant morning. Today, I, A. Shwetarani of grade 9, is here to talk about a man who never went to school but the reason to open thousands of schools in Tamil Nadu. Today, we can be proud that we are educated, but behind our education, there is a man who dreamed for the future of every kid in his state. It's Mr. Kamarajar who stood for education even with great oppositions and negative comments. Today, we celebrate the birth anniversary of Karmavira Kamarajar. Well, you will have a question lingering in your hearts and minds. Who is this great man that we must celebrate? What has he done for the children? How does he capture the important place in the history of Tamil Nadu? Today, all over Tamil Nadu, we find primary schools even in the remotest villages. Children are given opportunity to learn. It's because of the great commitment of Kamaraja, the former chief minister of Tamil Nadu. Kumarasamy Kamarajar, who was born on 15th July 1903 in Virudhunagar, was a well-known Indian political leader, freedom fighter and former chief minister of Tamil Nadu. He inspired people about the importance of education. This was the reason he was called as Karmavira Kamarajar. He was also referred as Padikada Mede. It was he who started midday meals. He was even ready to sacrifice all the luxurious life for the cause of education. He was a simple soul who could do anything for the cause of education. Considering his contribution towards education, we celebrate Kamarajar's birthday as Educational Development Day. Kamarajar came up in life and political career by his hard work and undying desire to achieve. He never compromised his life with his poor family background and
He was known for his simplicity and integrity. He gave a lot of importance for the values in life. Kamaraja was died on 2nd October 1975. The people of Tamil Nadu, by looking at Kamaraja's commitment to education, wanted to pay tribute to this great leader for great service he has rendered to this land by reaching education to every nook and corner of Tamil Nadu. So as students, we must learn the good quality of this great leader who stood for education. Thus, I conclude by saying that let long live the vision of this great inspiring leader Kamarajar. May his dream be filled in hearts and minds of every leader of nation, and education is a right of every children. Let long live education for young generation to climb the ladder of success in life. Thank you and have a wonderful day.